There was this voice, it's like whatever it said was inaudible. It was like a phrase. Anyway, she'll be posting that. I'm not sure when, maybe tonight or tomorrow or something, but
I don't never think about that. Usually when I'm having like electrical problems, I think it's me. I always think it's my energy.
it could be. I mean, it could be, but I think it's hard to tell sometimes. It could be our energy. It could be, something external, something, because we have electricity within us. We don't know if that's going to interfere with if our energy is just, really crazy and chaotic, or if it's just really high energy, or is it something else that has learned how to manipulate its energy to make a statement.
Yeah, because like here's a fun fact people don't know, like your skin cells still carry electricity. So like in music studios, a lot of times the computers, they crash, they freeze and stuff, and they don't know why. And what happens is over time, like from the keyboard, just typing, losing skin cells, they build up under the keyboard. And that forms a whole nother electromagnetic field that interferes with the computer and it shuts it down. So a lot of times it's like studios in Atlanta, you're supposed to like shut down and do a cleaning period where you clean up all the skin cells.
Yeah.
Because it can actually shut down computers and make, other stuff, devices crash.
That's wild.
That's why it's like you're not supposed to let people get your hair.
Exactly.
And stuff like that.
Exactly. So you know that I'm in the craft, and everything that we can wear something and, it carries our energies. If it gets in the wrong hands, bad things can happen, whether it's your hair, whether it's something that you drank from, or like you said, your hair. If it gets into the wrong hands, then,
Dude, some of it just come out. The way I do it is intuitively. It's like something just tell me to pick this video, and then it ends up like if I have something in the background, it goes along with what I'm talking about. I done had the TV just playing in the background before, and then it'll be like confirmations in the movie that's playing in the background as I'm talking.
You know what? I do that too. It's so crazy because do you ever notice that whenever you're saying something or thinking something, whether it's on the radio or whether it's a song when you're out, when, it's on the TV, it's like confirmation of what you're thinking about or what you're talking about.
Sometimes it seems like you're projecting it. It's not you projecting it, but it is like a clarification, but it's always there. Because I do that, like, especially like with the music, like you play the song will just be playing over and over like a hook or something in your head, and you're kind of like wondering why, and then it plays out throughout your day or something like that.
Yeah. But, I always say that the whole world is a tarot card because nobody really knows how the tarot actually works in the way that it works. You pull a bunch of cards, it tells a story, and it's accurate, right? It pulls the energies out of its surrounding area. How is that possible? Why do we not consciously do that? Well, we kind of can, right? So if we surround ourselves with positive things, and we have that positive mindset, well, like I said, the whole world is a tarot. That starts coming into, I mean, that's law of attraction stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I actually said that in my other video. I said that the cards are a binary system because this dimension functions off a binary system. So it's a code of zeros and ones.
yeah.
So no matter what you ask, it's always going to come out in a format of 0, 1. That's why you have up and down, left and right, upright, reverse. And you can do it with anything. You can do it with pieces of paper. That's how people can just write stuff on paper, tear it up, put it in a cup, shake it up, and still do the same thing. So it's, to me, the way I broke it down was, okay, we emit electricity, we transmit and receive all the time. Within this field, we have a field around us as well. And then there's a collective field, which we're pulling information out of, where everything is happening all at once, all the time. So it's like, as you're reading and what you're thinking, as you're shuffling, you're constantly, that's the motion, that's the current that's transferring and receiving.
Right.
So as you're thinking, you're transferring and receiving. And it's like, it just comes out in the cards. And it can
also get interrupted. So one time I was over at my girl's house, right? And she was like, this was like new to her with tarot, right? This was like maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And she was like, read their cards, So she's over here, like, on the other side of the room, arguing with the other girl, right? And I'm trying to like read for this other lady, and the cards actually picked up her energy, because I was like, this don't make any sense. This don't make any sense to what we were just talking about. And it was picking up on my friend's argument with the, because the 5 of Wands came out. I remember that. It was like 5 of Wands in the tower. And I was like, it completely pulled her energy into this reading. So, and then I've had other people to bring on other people's energies, things that other people burden them with, and they bring it. And I'm like, this has nothing to do with, with you yourself. And one lady, she was like, yeah, this is exactly what's going on, but it's with, so-and-so and so-and-so. It's amazing how we can project our energies onto other people so easily. That's why we always have to be, armored up. And
I think that happens during like a certain time period too. Like when that interruption is able to seep through. Right. It's some type of window. Because it's like a couple years ago, I noticed that the tarot readers, they would always start off their reads by saying, this could be you or another person, because they're picking it up dualistically. Right. So, yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're picking up a lot of different channels from a lot of different perspectives. And I think when you start questioning it, that's when you start mixing up the channels. Like when you kind of second guess it.
But okay, there are so many readers on YouTube. And if you go to each reader, they're going to say something different, right? However, how is it that it lines up all together? Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, maybe one is going to pick up on, you're getting a new job or a new house. But another one is going to pick up that you need to hold back on spending money because, something good is coming or whatever. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's all different stories, but it all pertains to the same thing. Or maybe one will say like, save money. But that's because you're buying a new house or you're getting a new car, you're, whatever it may be, it all comes together. Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay. I'm telling you, this happened to me and Starseed. Like,
It must be something for to happen.
I'm telling you.
Anytime
Something
a
big
reader,
is getting ready to happen.
every time I see a reader do Aries and they say, I had to record this 3 times, my camera kept cutting off. I had to do this 2 times, and it's always like for Aries.
Right. Because Aries is so fucking fiery. Y'all are breaking the internet for real. Like, so, but yeah, like, you know, when that energy starts getting really high, when the vibration is high, it starts fucking with shit, you know?
Yeah.
So.
That shit is irritating.
It is, but, you know, it's expected.
But I was just talking about, like, all that stuff you're talking about now. I put it in a video where the background image is an image of Greece. So you'll see like a sunny background and like the ocean in the video.
Yeah.
But I was talking about the same thing of that's one of the reasons why I watch different readers, is because they're all saying the same thing.
Yeah.
But it works off of astrology. And then I was breaking down how astrology comes from metaphysics, which is the study of the psyche, the soul. Anyway, it's really based on that, but that was changed to astrology.
Right.
And with astrology, those energies are running all the time, which is also
it never stops.
And that's what cardology is. Cardology is explaining the astrology and the tarot at the same time.
Yeah, I was watching your videos on that. Okay, now I'm amazed because I don't understand how that all works.
Think of it as, okay, we're Sims in a program, right?
Right.
You're a Sim. You got a program where you're a mother. You have that program running. That's like part of the macro, the big program that's running. And then there's also a whole bunch of copies of you, different perspectives, which would be, you know, other people with the same astrology chart or a close similar astrology chart.
Yeah.
And those programs are kind of running similar too. They're slightly different. That's why it's like you can read, everybody has the same energy,
right?
But it manifests differently, and we all have different perspectives based off our programming. The programming that we get from the astrology and the programming that we get from both parents, all of that is embedded into you. So like your behavior programming that comes from your parents, emotional program that comes from your parents, and then those are zodiac signs too. At the same time, you have a chart on yourself. So all those programs combined still have a kind of like a baseline energy. So that's how everybody can do certain reads, because you have the people that are more dramatic, where they're going into the stories, you know, leave this person alone because they nasty. You know, they get more into detail because it resonates with certain people. And then you have other people that's like get straight to the point because they're more grounded, they're more earth signs. So it's like they don't have to say that much. They're just talking about the certain energy. And then you have the air signs that are reading for that read that energy, where they go more into thought. This is why you should do this, is because it's more of the psychology of it. So it's like every sign has a method.
That's very thorough of how you're explaining it.
Every sign has a method so that it resonates the same message to everybody so that they understand. So all those different programs that are running can understand the same language.
And there's so many programs running.
ever think about using a timer. That's what I need to do though. But everything you're saying, I experienced it. And that's what kind of made me want to start documenting so I can help other younger people, because when I was little and, you know, I'm trying to tell this stuff to my parents, all that stuff kind of develop into depression when you grow up that way, you know, but but it's a part of your journey to get it all out. But it's like, you know, that I started walking early, started talking early. All my memories, I know I've had them all, because I'll tell, when my mother was alive, I used to tell her about certain stuff, and she was like, how do you know all of that? You were just 3 months. It's like, man, I was there. I just couldn't talk.
Right.
And that was like torture for me, because I was there, present, aware, but couldn't control my limbs how I wanted to. And I didn't know how to talk. I didn't know. I just thought I could just do it through thought.
Right.
But nobody could hear me, you know, hear me thinking. And then,
so what do you think happens when somebody has a spiritual gift like that, but then they're pushed into, say, religion and a really bad life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they get older, they still have these gifts, but they're dormant. What do you think happens? Do they go on into the next life?
It's different for everybody, because it's still a part of their astrological chart. Some people, they may never, because they may stay fixated on the illusion. Some people are actually going to start that journey and try to figure it out.
Yeah.
And like for me, my parents started going to church when I was 5 years old, and I was just like, hella like, oh, I don't want to do this. Why are we going to church? There's no God, because there was never none in any of the dimensions that I lived in, any of the memories. It was like, we were the guys, but we didn't have this morality thing that only exists in certain places. So it wasn't bad places. It was better places, actually.
Right.
So when I had to go through that whole church process, I had memorized all the sermons, you know, and people would always come up to me in church and be like, he's going to be something. He's going to be speaking. He's going to be like a pastor or something.
That's what they told me. Like, I was going to,
It was because I could recite the basic energy of the information. I wasn't memorizing the verses and stuff like that. It was just, and then I started speaking about the things that they don't talk about. The giants and all that stuff that's in the Bible. They talk about the Nephilim. So it's like you skip over certain information to formulate a morality, but you're not speaking about, there's a guy in the Bible that's supposed to be still alive to this day. I forgot his name. They even made a movie about it. So it's like all this information about UFOs, all that stuff in there. But that, I know that from my research, that the Bible was compiled from numerous stories, which still all comes from astrology.
Right.
No matter how you break it down.
People are going by astrology, like these old timers are going by astrology and don't even know it. Farmer's Almanac, right? They go by astrology to tell how the weather's going to be. Yeah. You know, when to grow which crop.
And see, I knew some of that stuff growing up as a kid, because my mother's family, they're all indigenous to this land.
Yeah.
So it was like I learned how to look at the whole environment, the trees, the animals and stuff like that. It kind of like talk to you, like you saying, everything is kind of like tarot. It's like this dimension talks to you too through everything.
It does. Now that's something that I had known as a kid. I would just like lay in the grass and I would just feel like part of everything. You know, I would sit outside alone and just watch the leaves, you know, blow in the breeze and be like, you know, I'm part of that. That's me. Like, I'm here, but I'm there. I'm everything. I'm everywhere. You know, that sounds like a poem, but I do write a little bit of poetry.
See, that's why you have to. I had to smoke to get back on the right level.
Yeah. Man, I'm telling you, ayahuasca was the thing that jump started my willingness to do what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, it's kind of like if you know certain things, it doesn't really mean anything unless you activate it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I needed to do a lot of healing within myself and able to move forward to be where I'm at right now. Ayahuasca definitely activated that. And, you know, like I always say, it's like 20 years of therapy in one night, because you go through everything. You see the programs, you see that you are a part of everything. You know, we're all made of the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, so we're so much bigger than ourselves, and our brain don't just stop right here in this skull. You know, it's able to pick up everything around. You know, it's I don't know how it works. It just does. And I've accepted that. You know, I don't have to understand it. I just accept it. And I'm just like, you know, whatever wants to make itself known, let it be. I just accept it for what it is. So
what's something that stood out within like your life that made you kind of just gravitated towards it more? Was it something that happened toward something in the past and then you kind of just brushed it off, and then later on something happened again?
I think I've always been able to interpret dreams. Mm-hmm. So people would always come to me and ask me, you know, or they would come to me and tell me, you know, hey, I had this dream, da 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 da. And I would be like, oh, well, that just means da 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 da. And, you know, that was something. Something else that I've always been able to do is read pictures. Like, you can show me a picture of somebody and I know their personality. I never knew how I did. I've always been able to do that. That's, you know, and it started from like looking in the yearbook at, you know, in my school, people I don't even know. And I'll be like, oh, that person's da 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 da. I've always been able to do it. So my friends, when they're dating somebody, they're like, you know, sending me a picture of the dude that they're dating, and they're like, hey, tell me about this person, you know. And I think the most craziest one that was like so legit, I told my friend, I was like, bro, he like jacks like 3 times a day. And she come back and she was like, I swear to God, she asked him, she asked him straight up. She was like, how many times, you know, and she's like, how do you know this stuff? I was like, I don't know. I don't know how I know. It's just there, you know?
Yeah.
Like, how do you know your phone works? You just know. How do you know your car runs? It's just, I don't know. It just, anyway, but that, I don't know. It just projected me into various areas of spirituality. You know, I've always had like encounters with entities, or even when I was a teenager, I had like this dream that I was abducted, you know, by aliens. So I slept in my brother's room for months. You know, I slept in his closet. I was scared. That was a very traumatic experience. So, you know, I've had like different types of situations that just makes me believe or try to get more in tune into my inside myself.
know the energies right now is crazy. Like it's sleepy time because you are Aries, and right now we're in Scorpio season, and Aries is like the polar opposite of Scorpio. So you're feeling the Mars energy too. Scorpio is Mars as well, but it's like psychological Mars versus aggressive Mars, you know, like Aries and Scorpio. So you're getting hit by that energy too. And it's a water sign, so you have a moon you have a Cancer moon, right? So it's a water sign. It's water season. Scorpio is water season.
And then it's like I've been trying to like avoid emotional people lately too, like real emotional people.
Yeah. Be very aware of trying to get, like, you're an empath, so you're going to definitely get like you're gonna feel the world. You're gonna feel the world, not just one person. Like you're gonna just be in the energy of feeling other people's trauma. You know, it's like being a rabbi. Like, you know, I don't know if you know this, but like rabbis become rabbis in their 60s, 70s. I don't know if you knew that. There's rabbis. There's no young rabbi. Like that doesn't exist because they believe that you have to be experienced in life to become a rabbi, not just because you went to school, not because you know so and so. So it's the same thing with spirituality, like, you know, and it's the same thing with healing. And if you're not ready to embrace that part of yourself right now, that healing and experience life, and you want to rush, you're not going to be skilled or seasoned, if that makes sense.
Have you ever came across somebody that was young that you knew had abilities, but they were kind of like using them for the wrong reason?
Yeah, unfortunately, some people know their power and they use it to manipulate, manipulate energy, manipulate people, manipulate emotions. And they go to the dark side, right? Because there's a balance, there's light and there's dark. One can't function without the other. It's just the universal law. So unfortunately, you see people wanting to go to the dark side versus the light side, if you will, of spirituality or any spiritual gifts or powers, right? It's like X-Men, if I had to compare. There's like the villains and then there's like the heroes, right? It's a balance.
Yeah, it's like X-Men is my life in a nutshell. It's like all the stories and stuff, because I've been watching Low-Key, and I was just like, damn, all this stuff relates to, stuff that I know, information, quantum physics, and because it's like this season 2 is like a Loki is someone, or it's an entity, it's a god, but they were created to make others great. But the Loki is always alone. They're always destined to be alone, but they're also like this jokester, and they switch from, being good and being evil, so to say. They switch back and forth. That's what a Loki does. Yeah. But they live all these different lives, and they live forever, and they have all these different experiences. And I was just like, wow. Because I like watching X-Men and cartoons.
Yeah, yes. I was watching his show on Disney. I think I watched a couple of episodes, if not more, with Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
And it's about time travel. Yeah. I liked it.
Yeah, because it's deep. If you don't get like quantum physics, you're gonna be lost. But it's like, to me, it all makes sense because the episodes are actually how I used to dream as a kid. So I would dream in these different layers, and I would like time slip, go to other lives, and I knew where I was at, but I knew I was going through like 10 different life experiences in one dream, and I would actually remember it. And that's kind of like what Loki is doing. He's time slipping from different years, but he still has memory and know what's going on. He's going back and forth in time. And then he's talking to somebody in the past, and then they're receiving the information in the present. And that's kind of like how you get your intuition. It's like you start realizing certain things from the past were speaking to you all along, and now you're in the present realizing what it is.
Yeah. It's kind of like Back to the Future was my first ever show or movie that had to do with time travel. And I loved Michael J. Fox, and so he came up with this movie, Back to the Future, and my brothers and I always watched that movie. Like, we probably watched it like 100 times. But it was a 3-part series. It's like part 2, part 3, and it all coincided, which was beautifully made. I don't know if you saw all 3 parts of Back to the Future.
Yeah, it's a lot of hidden gems in Back to the Future, but you got to go back and watch it, like the very first one. Yeah, there's certain synchronicities put in there. And that's how things happen. That's how kind of like the tarot works and intuition. It's these synchronicities, and it's like these things keep happening, and it's kind of, even when you don't try to pay it any attention, it's like it forces to gather your attention some kind of way. So it's like as you go outside, you might see something or a certain color, or you see certain numbers, and then you keep wondering why it repeats and what does it mean. And then, you know, most people, they don't look, they just think it's a coincidence or deja vu, not realizing what it is.
With tarot, you specifically have to always for me, when I read it, I have to be very mindful of not saying a time, a specific time. And so when I say this is the energy, it's either happening or it will be happening. That's up to the person that I'm talking to discern. I don't know. I don't know their life. So if that makes sense now or later, it doesn't even matter. You came to me, and, whenever it unfolds because time is linear, right? In tarot. You could go back and forth. You could go to the past, you could go to the future, you could be in the present, or other dimensions. A lot of the times when I read, whether you want to hear it or not, I see it and I have to tell them. But I try to dumb it down, if you will. Like, I have to dumb down the energy so that they understand that, it doesn't matter what this reading is about. You're going through some spiritual awakening or journey, and you have to figure this out, right? I'm not here to tell you what to do. If you want to go ahead and listen to the message, yeah, fine. That it was given to you for a reason. But there's a lot of people that don't want to go see beyond, right? The 3D. They want to be in the 3D, and this is what's happening. But do you read for yourself?
Yeah. I haven't done it lately, but my intuition kept telling me to do it. And I pulled like 2 cards last night, because every time I pull it, it's been pretty much the same thing. It's kind of like what I'm doing now, creating content, business, being sick. And even that's in my cardology too. Like, I do cardology spreads. Yeah. And cardology is astrology and tarot together, but telling you more in a relatable story-like format. So like my cardology spread for this year is based on your current age, and then you have a set of cards which are still the signs, the planets. So it breaks down the planets in a more, like I said, story base. And I kept getting the same thing, because I can read what planetary phase I'm in cardology.
Which one are you in currently?
Let me look, because I don't want to tell you wrong.
This is interesting, because I've never done that. You were explaining that to me a while back, and I was just like, never heard of that.
So I'm in my Saturn, and it starts 10/22 for me, and then that lasts for 52 days. So the next period for me will be Uranus on December 13th, and then I go into Neptune on February 4th. So like right now I'm in Saturn. So the way that I read cardology is like it's always going to be a set amount of cards for your birth date. And it's a chart. So I fill in the chart, and you have like your long range card, a Pluto card, a result card, an environment card, displacement card. But I usually just read like the general things that's in my Saturn. Like I have like a 6 of clubs, a 3 of clubs, a jack of clubs, a ace of clubs, a 4 of spades, a 4 of diamonds, 2 of diamonds, 2 of clubs. And then I basically read all the meanings of those cards in Saturn, and it applies to me. So that's what cardology is. It's like it's reading the way I read it, I'm reading basically your sun, your moon, and your rising. That's how I read the cardology spreads. Because you have a birth card, which is your sun card. You have a planetary card, which is like your moon card. And then you have a personality card, which would be your rising.
Yeah. That's your current energy right now.
Yeah.
You have to be very detached when you read tarot. When I tell people, the first thing you have to do when you want to learn how to start reading tarot is really detach yourself and set an intention, almost like a shield or a protection energy field, to kind of break that, have a boundary, right? Have this barrier, I should say, if that makes sense. So you have your energy, the other person has their energy, because the last thing you want to do is have that energy overflow, or vice versa. So there has to be some type of shield, intention setting, a prayer, if you will. Like, it's just something that will help you go into this new energy, right? This unknown energy that you can't just go into somebody's energy all nilly-willy, and sometimes, depending on the person that I read for, their energy, or their spirit guides, I should say, their spirit guides and ancestors, is pretty like, they're strong, they're powerful, right? And of course that resonates with the person that they're inhabiting, the human that they're inhabiting, right? They have spiritual gifts, powers, superpowers of some sort, and that's just my belief. I don't know what your belief is, but if you have like strong, powerful team behind you, you could do it. You'll be able to do it. I just know that you were talking about the dark and the light earlier, and people with spiritual gifts going either into the dark or into the light. That also resonates with their spirit guides and ancestors, who are their ancient malefic energies. They're just as powerful, but they embrace the dark.
I look at it as a whole. Like, I don't separate it anymore. Like I used to look at it that way, as light and dark, but I notice actually the light and dark is actually the same thing. It's the same entity. Like, you're seeing the opposite of each. It's like, in order to recognize something, it has to separate in order to see what it is. Just like the signs, the zodiac signs, is, to me it's 6. And then it's split down the middle to where you can see the opposite energies of those 6 energies.
Okay. I'm all about shuffling. Okay. All right. So, all right. So let's see. Second message here. Okay. So, there's something about the next 10 weeks. Communication, interesting. Communication's not going to be the best, right? So, for example, you were complaining about technology. Be aware of that with the Ace of Swords in reverse and the Ten of Wands. Like I just feel like you may still end up having communication problems, and this could be communication of all kinds, right? Like technology, messages, communication, whatever. What is that? I think that you have so much to say and you know so much, right? You could influence the whole world if you wanted to. And like your mind looks like it's like going like 1,000 miles per hour with the Gemini card here. But communication is not on your side. So be aware of that. It was in the reverse with the Ten of Wands. Try not to rush into decisions. I don't know if you know the energy of a Gemini, but a Gemini could be very impulsive. They could be very, overzealous. Like they could trip on their own foot sometimes. But it's that energy, right? It's like that fast energy. It's a Mercury energy. So it's like, so I think that you're smart, right? Geminis are usually Mercury is this very smart energy, intelligent energy. So I guess that was like a message. And then we have here the Knight of Pentacles and the Two of Wands in reverse. Be aware of solicitors, especially like the World Wide Web. I mean, like spam and shit like that. Not so much information, but probably a scam, like trying to take your money with the Knight of Pentacles and the Two of Wands in reverse. Like it just feels like somebody's trying to, like, what is this? Somebody over here is trying to hassle you for your money. Or maybe it could be a car. It could be like you taking in your car for repairs, and this person is like, it's something wrong. Like, maybe it's not nothing wrong with it, but they're trying to take more money out of you. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, anything spiritual. So it feels like you've been a little disconnected from something. Like a disconnection. Maybe you ended a relationship or a contract recently, or you will end a relationship or contract in the near future. I think that you were warned by this energy, like somebody warned you about it. Maybe you warned yourself through reading for yourself. But it feels like with the Queen of Wands in reverse. Like it's like somebody was like, let me tell you what's about to happen. Be aware of this. And you end up like choosing with the Two of Swords and then the King of Swords in reverse. Like you end up choosing to break a relationship here or contract. Because you're like, I don't know, this ain't gonna work. I don't think so much because they try to rob you or anything like that. So it has nothing to do with robbing you. It has something to do with, I was saying earlier about communication. Be aware of communication. You have so many bright ideas and you're very smart and people gravitate to you like because of that. But I just feel like they may take that information, right? We were talking about that earlier. That's interesting. They may take that information and pretend that they came up with it.
That's why
you know what I mean?
That the first read that you did, that's why I'm picking up that's why I didn't record. Because what you said in the first read, somebody's going to try to use that against me to get a gain. So that's why I don't think it recorded. So that's right. But
the Hierophant clarifies the whole energy. And to me, this is you. This is the Hierophant in the upright. Your energy looks great. So it feels serious. It feels stable. It feels like your knowledge is going to get you not only your knowledge, but your experience. I know you said you wanted to incorporate, intuition with money and, organization, whatever. This to me represents the Hierophant in the upright. Like that's all of Hierophant's energy. It's a Taurus energy.
Yeah, I actually got that 3 times. Each time I pulled for myself, that's what I got.
Yeah. So you're protected. This is protection. Yeah. You have protection outside of the 3D world. So definitely hone into that. Interesting, because that's how, I said the Queen of Wands, and it's like, the Queen of Wands feels like, a spirit guide or somebody that told you, that gave you a warning. But a Queen of Wands could be seen as almost like a version of the High Priestess. Or, like the High Priestess. Why is this happening? Let's see if this interesting situation can tell us is something in your birth chart that's happening, or because I know you had mentioned like Uranus is going to be coming up for you, and Uranus right now is in Taurus, and I feel that you're going to get 2 energies during this time. You're going to gain and you're going to lose money. I don't know which one's going to come first, gain or lose, but either way, it's going to both happen. And it feels like at a short period of time, like a short span of time. I would suggest whatever doubts you have when it comes to business, do your own reading, because you could do that. You could tap into business reads. Perhaps maybe that's your niche for your own personal reads, like reading for yourself, right? Have you done reading for yourself when it comes to business?
Yeah, and that's what I'm noticing. Like when I do pull cards, when I make my videos, it's usually about business, relationships all kind of combined, because the actions affect the business. And it's like, those are the energies I'm picking up. It's like I'm picking up people that want to be tarot readers or they want to be content creators, and they're trying to figure out how to do it. And I'm always picking up those energies of those people.
Yeah, it feels very spiritual with the 9th house. So interesting that you said that. The ninth house is about spirituality, but also long distance. So World Wide Web is long distance. So, you could get probably more clients on the other side of the world. If that's possible. And you're a healer. You're also a healer. Not only do you heal yourself, but your words, your wisdom is able to heal other people. With the Virgo card here, it's Virgo. It's all about it's a practical energy, but it's also has a lot to do with health and healing. Yeah. Anything else?
No, it was on point, because I remember even in my spread, I'm not supposed to talk about everything or talk about what I'm doing in business too much, because it's not supposed to be, everybody's not supposed to know all the moves that I'm making. So that's why I think it didn't record that first part on purpose. That was just part of the protection of making sure certain information don't go out. But everything you said is on point. It was, that's what I've been going through. That's what I've been talking about. It's just, I don't know. I've just been in the now, just not thinking about anything anymore, really. Not this month. I haven't been stressing.
Good.
Just going with the flow. That's why it's like when I contact you, like whenever you want to record, just record. I just kind of like freestyle. I don't really hold myself to a schedule unless needed to. Because a lot of times when I try to schedule something, that's like when I get sick. And then it's like, I don't want to say, hey, let's do something at 2. And then I get fatigued and I'm basically like falling asleep or I'm in pain. And then I have to reschedule. That's why I rather just free flow things. And that I usually see that I feel better when I do things that way instead of trying to overwork myself and multitask. I rather just let things flow.
Yeah. Listen, you'll be fine either way. If you've already found yourself, not feeling well, because you're holding yourself to a schedule, like I know that feeling. But if that's what works for you, you'll be fine. Because no matter what, you have that Hierophant, energy, and that Gemini energy. I don't know if do you have Gemini in your chart?
Yes. What is it? 9th house? I don't remember. Or is that what is that house?
The
I've
third
asked
house?
you before. Yeah, because I asked you before. I don't even know where my chart is at.
In Vedic, I know that in Vedic, I don't know if you follow Vedic astrology, but your Cancer moon, in Vedic, you're a Gemini. So it would make sense to me.
I relate to, like, I understand Geminis.
Yeah, in Vedic, you would be a Gemini moon. So that probably that's what you're honing into, that energy. Yeah. But again, it's because a lot's going on. I remember I was telling you, like, a lot is going on in your head. And so just, be aware of communication around this time. It's kind of what I picked up in the very beginning. Because you have so much to say, so much to share. But I don't like that the ten of wands, like the ten of wands over here. I don't like that it's here presenting the Ace of Swords. I think it's a temporary energy, so it's very temporary because I remember the Ten of Wands came out in the upright, and this was in the reverse, but it feels very temporary. I can't remember what I said. I think I mentioned the time. 10 weeks. I'm gonna say the next 10 weeks.
You said 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's in my cardology about being careful of communication, miscommunication, like all of this, it's in the cardology spread.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I know like everything you're saying is accurate, because I kind of remember what's in my chart. Yeah, so.
Do you have your cards with you?
Yeah.
Do you want to do a reading for me? It'll be my a joy to have a reading from 369 dimension.
Let me shuffle. I'm trying to get better at shuffling.
Yeah, when you shuffle, what you're doing is you're breaking the energy. So, some people, they shuffle and they go like this, like real rough. I'm like, what are you doing?
I can't be rough with these cards because I already kind of tore one corner. I got mad at myself. Usually, like, I'll shuffle because sometimes it comes out in the shuffle. It's like I'll feel it like the card is forcing me to pull it or flip it out. It comes out on its own.
Good.
So you just want me to pull cards and tell you what I see?
Yes, please. Since you're good at freestyle.
See what's going on for Leonore. To come out. This one. Okay, the first card I got is the Eight of Swords in reverse. Eight of Swords. What else? Then I got the Five of Swords reverse. So you're making up your mind about what you want to do? You're having doubts about what you want to do, but you already know what you want to do. You're just in decision mode.
Yeah, definitely in my mind. It's definitely in my fucking mind.
There's too many. Hold up. So these three. Let's see what you got. Then you got Strength in reverse. Five of Wands upright. So yeah, your idea of that you're protecting. Page of Spears. So let me read right quick, because I see, like, where I read it, like, ever since I saw you with these cards, I knew that I could just see the picture, but I still read them.
Yeah.
But it's decision that you're standing on, that you kind of been procrastinating, I think. Because to me, that's what the Eight of Swords in reverse is. It's like you're making a decision, but you're procrastinating.
Yeah.
But you already know what it is. And I feel like the Five of Wands, your idea, you're supposed to protect it and keep it to yourself and be aware of other people that could try to utilize it. Let me see why this Strength is in reverse. 8. Weakness, anger, abuse of power, and threat. So I guess something was really bothering you, and you just wanted to make sure I guess you didn't feel like you can get through a certain situation. Or you're kind of fearing that situation repeating. Page of Spears. Apprenticeship and practice. So I guess there's something that you have been, I guess, researching or putting more attention to, a certain skill set or something, I guess, it has to do with your business. It may have to do with the cards, what you were telling me about. So the fear that you have is just merely just a fear. You'll see that once you start doing it, the fear is going to be gone anyway. So once you start repeatedly doing what you need to do as far as like business, then that's when you'll see that the fear was nothing.
I am fearful of an upcoming surgery because of I follow astrology, and they're saying like November is not a good thing and a good time right now to do the type of surgery, whatever. But hocus pocus, but it's something that I have to do, unfortunately, and I have been procrastinating it. But if I procrastinate any longer, it's not going to be good for me. With business, like with the cards, oh God, it's been like 2 years in the making, and it's on the other side of the world, and we have that communication barrier there. So, but it's going, it's going.
Yeah, but you're not in the wrong for protecting your information and protecting stuff from, I guess, competitors. Not even just competitors, it's just, I guess, people in your social life. So you're in the right for doing that, but like the fear goes away once you have like all the information, and once you do what you're supposed to do and keep up that routine of learning and doing what you're supposed to do, you'll see that the fear goes away.
Yeah. Good to know. Thank you.
Late at night, I'm scrolling through my feed, looking for something that I really need. Then I stumble upon a channel so divine, just like a velvet portal to another time. A channel with a mystical flair. Gotta make the light sunset and clear. 369 time missionaries take me to the higher place. I'm locking my intuition, feeling spirit's embrace. From her path to psychic abilities, tarot cards and more. I'm catching all the vibes like I never did before.
Goodbye.
Certain people and certain things just ain't gonna exist anymore.
Or could it be that they exist, but just like not in your reality? Because I know for a fact that some people that don't exist to me, and I don't want to say are irrelevant, but like I don't even think about, but they're still existing somewhere.
Yeah, it's probably it's a separation of dimensions to me. Because it's like I always see things before they happen ahead of time. That's just how I've been my entire time here. So it's like I'm seeing just how people think their psychology is going to change. I I had made a video about the definition of dreams will change eventually. What
do you think the definition of dreams is now?
Now it's like it's just your thoughts in your brain, and your brain is making these images, and that's not true. It's going to switch from that. It's going to go more into, they know that people are actually quantum jumping or going to different realities when they sleep. So all the different information that you pull from different realities and manifest within this world, they're going to start trying to use that against you.
So do you consciously make it a point sometimes, maybe certain times of the month or a year or what have you, you consciously quantum people, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this to do, or is it just something that you don't like to talk about, or is it just something that you just think just happens spontaneously?
Sometimes I consciously do it. Tell myself before I go to sleep, form a certain intention just to go to a certain place to get information. Okay. Other times it is just random. It just happens.
So do you think so it sounds like, okay, so you're saying like when you go to sleep, have you ever tried like any other ways? Have you heard of any methods to like how catapult yourself into
this? Everybody has different techniques, but I always suggest do what comes naturally to you, because I don't believe in no uniform way of doing anything happening to your abilities or getting information. You can use those abilities like I used to use Palo Santo, like burning it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like sage. I don't like the smell. Sage? I don't like the smell of it. I like wood. So burning like that. Cedar? It's not like cedar. It's different than cedar. It's almost like a fresher tree smell.
It's got a sweeter smell.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
But some reason I gravitate towards it. I like that. I burn candles. I like different candles. So it's like everybody has these different techniques of meditating or centering your energy. Whatever technique you have, use it.
That's cool. I don't know what the feeling of. I don't want to be presumptuous, but I know, at least where I live, it's been so cloudy. And part of it is because of the time of year, but we've had uncharacteristically warm.
Flew by your screen.
Oh, probably an orb.
It went from the side.
Yeah. So my altar is right here. So it happens, and it's exciting. So thank you for telling me. But I was just gonna say really quick, I think they're putting something in the clouds, and I'm not even in. And I think we're breathing shit in.
Yep, we are.
And unfortunately, it's being absorbed in our skin and the water. And I'm trying to be strong, but it seems like a lot of people I know everyone, even dare I say, is like in some way, shape, or form feeling like bogged down and so. For me, lately, it's just been listen, well, I don't want to say I'm selfish, and I don't want to say I'm self-centered, but at the same time, that's what I mean, but not in the low vibrational, negative way. But saying all that to say, oh shit, I just completely the thought just flew away. I guess I wasn't supposed to say it. I literally don't know.
Oh no, something flew by right before you stopped talking. I'm watching you and I'm watching the background just to see what's flying around.
Oh, it's shit went out of my head, so I guess shut my mouth, I guess.
I don't know. I know they've been putting the stuff in the clouds. Well, those aren't real clouds that we're seeing anyway. It's
do you think all of the time, or just most of the time? There's got to be something real up there.
Most of the time. Most of the time it's sprayed around about 6 a.m. That's when you start seeing that stuff expanding, start to form like clouds. And then usually around nighttime when the sun goes down, that's when those clouds, so-called clouds, disappear.
Well, I gotta tell you, it's different times here. It starts around 11:30, 12 a.m. And I live like in the city. And it's just loud, and they literally go for hours. Like, I've woken up at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and they still just be, and it's like they go up and down. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, we watched it. Like, looked out the window. Like, the plane goes this way, then it comes back, and it goes this way, and it goes this way. It's literally like, what is it that I'm trying to say? Like, laps. It's like making laps.
Crisscross.
Yeah. And I'm like, yo, they really are like not even hiding this shit. Like, we can see this. And I know, like, we can see it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Come on down to the fly factory where the beats are bumping and the vibes are fly. We got the 808s kicking and the melodies move just like a fresh paint and a brand new. If you need a trim or a quick shave up, Fly Factory Barber Lounge got your covered. Yeah, located in Lawrenceville, GA. Give them a call or just stop on by. They'll hook you up and make you look so fly. Come on down to the Fly Factory where the beats are bumping and the vibes are fly. We got the 808s kicking and the melodies move just like a fresh paint and a brand new. If you need a trim or a quick shave up, Fly Factory Barber Lounge got your covered. Yeah, located in Lawrenceville, GA.
Would you describe yourself as empathic?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question. I was actually talking about this the other day as well. So I'm not sure if I am an empath or not. I feel as though I can identify with, I'm not going to go as far as to say I can identify with everybody. That's not. But I could definitely, like, I can feel, right? I can feel the shift in a room. I can feel. So I say all that to say, I'm also, according to other people and, like, you know, people in my life, I've been told that I'm very cold and that I lack empathy. And I've actually been told that all my life. And so I think the people that are closest to me, like 2 people that are like closest, 3 that are super close, they know, like, I'm not a cold person, right? But at the same time, certain things I've never been able to, like, oh, this is gonna sound so crazy, but like cry. Mm-hmm. Like, when I can think of one funeral in my life, genuinely, that I've been to, that I, like, cried. But there are also people that I, like, genuinely love, but I don't know. And I don't know if it's because I have a different belief or I have, like, a different feeling. Like, I don't believe that that's the end of that person. I believe it's the end of that, you know, that skin, right? Mm-hmm. But it's nobody wants to hear that, especially when they're, like, mourning a loved one, you know? So I just don't really say much because I never know the right things to say. So that's just an example. And then I just have a hard time feeling empathy. But at the same time, I don't. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I used to judge myself feeling like that too. Because I wouldn't cry at funerals. I think I only cried at, like, one funeral when I was younger. I had, like, a best friend that was like a brother to me. And that was it. That was, like, when I was 15. And then anybody else, like family members, I would go to the funeral, but I'm just sitting there. It's like, I don't cry, but
no, it's same.
But as of, like, I say around about 2019, when I was, like, really tapping into, like, all my abilities, that's when I became, like, real sensitive, like, and I didn't know what was going on. Like, I would be crying, but it wouldn't be me. I was actually picking up somebody else's thoughts.
Right. That's legit.
And I would be crying. I'm like, damn, what is going on? It was because I'm picking up. So it's like, now I know how to sympathize with certain people. Because, like, I'll get certain messages. Like, when I had this ghost apparition appear to me, like, in a room, and they wanted me to pass a message to their relative. And like when I finally gave the person the message, it was like I was crying because I was hearing their message and their voice and how they were feeling, but it was coming through me. And I was always told that too, because it's like I don't really show emotion.
That's interesting because I think people do have different techniques. I have my way that I do, but I do also feel like another way to do that or to quantum leap is to set your intention when you go to sleep. This is when I wake up. For example, when I wake up, I'm going to be in my desired reality, and your desired reality is whatever it is that your desired reality is. Do you believe that?
Yeah, sometimes, and sometimes I'm just in the experience. Like today I woke up and I was hella tired. Like I was just sleepy when I woke up. So I was feeling weird all day. I was like, man, let me go to the park so I can get some oxygen. And I wasn't really thinking about anything just because I was feeling off today. I wasn't feeling that, didn't have a lot of energy. So sometimes I think we're just supposed to be in the moment, just be in the now, not really concentrate on certain intentions. Because you got to have a certain time where you're experiencing, and then you have a certain time where you're forming your intents and you're focusing and meditating. It's
You're
like
right.
like breathing, you go in, out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I love that you said that. You're right. You're absolutely right. And I think that, well, I'll speak for myself. It can get easy to forget that sometimes. Present moment is what matters. Not what happened, what's been to happen. Present moment is like the only real. So I think it's good. I love that you said that. So I was watching this documentary earlier today. Actually, it was about Antarctica, and it was about how it used to be, not where it is right now. And it used to be like, I want to say like up closer to where India is now. I don't know. Don't get me to lying. But anyway, about how underneath like all of the melted ice and all of that, there's probably a whole another civilization going on like 2 miles below the ice. And like, it was really interesting. And it also kind of ticked me off, which I don't really get ticked off easily, but I got kind of ticked off because I'm like, I want to learn this stuff. Like, why didn't they teach us this shit? Like, this is the stuff that I would have liked to learn in school. Like,
yeah, you ain't gonna learn shit in school. It's like you're gonna learn everything in real life, in the now. Because I don't think nothing that they teach us is real, because I try to use my abilities to learn. Like when I go to sleep, I try to astral project, see how far I can go. And from what I've seen, I don't think that the world is round. From what I've seen, that's all I say.
so what have you seen?
I've seen just other land outside of what they consider the world. It's like we're being shown a circle. We're inside of a circle, but there's stuff outside of the circle. There's more land.
So like the Truman Show?
Pretty much. Because that's what I was talking about, like the split. It's like, why isn't there more people that are consciously aware using their abilities? Why aren't remote viewers jumping around looking at certain stuff?
Okay, so because I don't want to assume, so let me clarify. Are you saying that, do you believe the earth is flat?
Yeah, I see it as a plane, like a plane that never ends. And
just like a piece of land that just goes on infinitely?
Yeah, it's like you can reach certain edges, but the edges just go to other dimensions. But as far as from what I've seen, is what they call the world is like a circle. Outside of that, what they call like the ice wall, there is more land. So that's where other people actually live, and where you get certain people with different abilities, taller people, bigger people, people that they call aliens, all that stuff, that's outside of the ice wall.
Late at night, I'm scrolling through my feed, looking for something that I really need. Then I stumble upon a channel so divine, it's like I found a portal to another time. A channel with a mystical flair. Gotta make the light sunset and clear. 369 time mission readings take me to the higher place. I'm locking my intuition, feeling spirit's embrace. From a blind to psychic abilities, tarot cards and more. I'm catching all the vibes like I never did before.
Goodbye.
Yeah, I went through something.
So did people treat you differently or treat you negative because you were doing tarot?
Not to my face anymore. Around the time that I really started getting serious into tarot, I was just called away from a lot of things, a lot of people. So I had already, the people that I feel would have the most to say about it are no longer a part of my journey for now where I'm at. And it's all good. It was just, I really got to the point where, kind of like how I was saying earlier, like conversations were happening and I'm just like, bruh, can we please talk about something else? And it just got to be like that all the time, where just literally everybody would be where everybody was and then they'd just be me, like completely zoned out. And it's just like, why am I even here right now? Like, what actually, why am I here? So it got to the point where I started to like distance myself, just got called, and then just different things in my life were happening. So I was a little bit more isolated, which has never really been an issue for me, which can get dangerous. Because I don't mind my own company. But so yeah, I feel like everybody, I mean, and I think the people that are in my life still, for example, like my parents will say, they may have an issue with it, but they're not gonna say anything to me about it. I mean, and maybe they will, but I am definitely the black sheep of the family. So I think they stopped really kind of, I don't want to say paying attention to me, because that's not true, but just kind of really paying attention to what it is that I got going on. Because I just kind of always done my own thing. I always questioned the church. I always just wanted to know shit that they didn't have the answers to when I would question stuff, and I would get in trouble for asking the wrong questions, and I'd be genuinely curious, like, how does this not make sense to you? Like, I don't understand. And it would be like, I'm blasphemizing. And as a kid, I'm like, I'm not trying to blaspheme. I don't even know what that means. I just know the way don't feel right and don't make sense. So why am I bad? And that was like throughout my whole, just even now, existence, it's always been like that. So a lot of the people that I think would say something or have something to say about it, they don't say it to my face. They don't. They won't. Like, nobody takes it. I shouldn't say nobody, but the people that take it seriously are the ones, I guess, that matter. I don't know. Like, dozing off, but the lady was talking about something along the lines of, I'm gonna say this and try to make it make sense. The Earth having its own chart, or like based on your chart, your natal chart, there are specific places that you can go on Earth to help specific things manifest much easier. So it's like, if you're at this point in your life, if you are on the map, or if you live like in this longitude and latitude, whatever the case may be, your chances of whatever A, B, and C are like 10 times higher in the UK than they are in Dallas, Texas. You know what I mean? Have you heard of that?
Yeah, that's true.
What
it's
is
like
that called?
It's like the ley lines that we live on.
Okay.
It's also like a projection of energy, because depending on where you are born, the ley lines also predict how you will look, like the shape of my, like the nose. Because I'm an Aries, I have like a bent nose. My features are going to form a certain way based on where you're born at. If you're born, like if you're born like in New York, you're probably going to be taller, slender, stuff like that. So all these energy points dictate how we act, how we look, and like you said, certain activation. Like, I always knew that I was supposed to be in Atlanta for some reason. As a kid, I was like, I gotta go to Atlanta. I didn't know nothing about it, and I kept trying to come here. When I graduated high school, I was like, yo, I need to go to college in Atlanta, and my parents wouldn't let me go. I was like, either way it go, I know I'm going to make it to Atlanta somehow, because I'm supposed to go there for this activation. And I didn't know nothing about tarot, nothing back then. I just knew I was supposed to come here. And then once I got here, that's when all the activation started.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. I've always felt, I definitely have never felt called to here where I am right now, but I'm stuck here. Well, actually, I'm only stuck here if I tell myself I'm stuck here, but at least in the 3D right now, as it reflects, because I co-parent, so I've always felt called to the islands. Like, I'm going to live, like, as a permanent, where I'm going to live and die is going to be in the islands. Like, that's going to be what it is. And I just can't wait to go and live and settle. And it's going to be a while, because my youngest daughter is 6. So we're looking at some time, unless something unforeseen happens. But I strongly don't feel that the activations that I'm harder. I feel as though it's going to be harder, and I'm trying to be careful of the words that I speak over my life right now. So now I'm second guessing everything I say. But I just don't feel like I'm supposed to be here. We'll just say that.
Yeah, that's how I was. It was like I knew I wasn't supposed to be in St. Louis. I just felt trapped. It didn't feel like nothing was moving, but at the same time, it was like I was scared to leave. And then everything happened to where I had to leave. It was like I was paralyzed. My job eliminated my position. I lost my house. And then so it's like I had to move to Tennessee to try to get disability and, try to get help. And then from Tennessee, I ended up moving to Georgia. So it's like I didn't try to get here. It's like I just went with the flow, and it got me here. And then it was like once I got here, it's like my awareness changed. It was like all the stuff that I used to suppress and didn't talk about, I started talking about more, because it was happening more. I was having visions more.
Down to the fly factory where the beats are bumping and the vibes are fly. We got the 808s kicking and the melodies move just like a fresh paint and a brand new. If you need a trim or a quick shave, fly factory barber lounge got your covered. Yeah, located in Lawrenceville, GA. Give them a call or just stop on by. They'll hook you up and make you look so fly. Come on down to the fly factory where the beats are bumping and the vibes are fly. We got the 808s kicking and the melodies move just like a fresh paint and a brand new. If you need a trim or a quick shave, fly factory barber lounge got your covered. Yeah, located in Lawrenceville, GA.
Some things you gotta catch, like when you were talking about road rage, because I get like road rage.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes like I know to not do anything, like sit, stop, and be calm, because it's like a message for the calm. So usually the message is slow down, look out for something, but I have to control myself. Like, don't get mad. What am I supposed to be looking at, or what am I supposed to hear right now? And then it usually comes.
I love that. Good. Yes.
'Cause I do that a lot when I go to a restaurant and they mess my order up. The first thing in my mind, I'm ready to go off, and then I'm like, nah, let me calm down.
How when they cooking your food though?
Don't let me say nothing. And usually if I stay calm, I'll get something free. You know what I'm saying? Something like that.
Yeah, you just gotta put out what it is that you want, right? Well, yeah, it's annoying that the food did not, like, especially if you're hungry as shit, right? And then something's messed up, like, but what you want to get back is what it is that you want, and it better come back better than what you expected, right? Because they messed it up. Yep. So yeah, you put it out there, and then like you said, you get free stuff, or extra dessert, and free drinks, coupon 20% off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's cool.
This period may bring ambition that encourages travel or is in some way related to travel or foreign interests. This could be a desire for money, to take a business trip, or to be used in some distant business deal. Caution is advised under Neptune's illusory influence, so be sure that all business communications and activities are clear. Also, you should question your own motives and desires, lest you fall prey to do deception along these lines.
Because that was kind of the reason why I suppressed a lot of things, or how I view things. I would always get, what do you call it? I guess psychic thoughts. And I would always warn people about certain things, but I would always get treated negative for it.
Premonition, you mean? Like a premonition?
Yeah. I would get those all the time. And it started off by me seeing people dying. It was always about death. I would see certain people before they die and how they die.
Oh, that's too much information.
So that kind of messed me up, because it was like I saw my best friend, like how he had died before he died. I saw pastor die, exactly how he died before he died. And so I was like, damn, am I doing something wrong? Did I make it happen? And this was me as a kid.
Damn.
Trying to figure this shit out. So I just started getting into tarot in 2019. And that was based off my intuition telling me to do it.
You just decided one day that this is what you wanted to try?
I was just listening to myself. I always have like an inner dialogue where I'm just kind of like processing information. Mm-hmm. And it was like once I had separated from my ex and I was going through so much, I'm like, damn, like, what am I going to do? Like, 'cause I was worried about how am I going to survive, because I was having so many seizures at the time.
Oh,
and I didn't want to move back to St. Louis.
Right.
I was like, damn, where I'm going to live, what I'm going to do. And it was just, I want to know information before I leave this body, because I don't want to come back to this place. That was like my main, that was my main dialogue in my head, was like, I don't want to come back to this place. So I need to find out what's going on. And then that's when my inner self said, go to a psychic reader. And I was basically just having this conversation in my head, like, I don't know a psychic reader. I don't know where to go. And it was like, I'm going to go whatever lays out in front of me. I'm just going to go with the flow. And then that's how everything, it turned out. I went to a dating app, and then the person that I matched with was a tarot reader. So it was like, okay, this is how this works. I need to just listen to my intuition.
Right.
And that's how I got into start. And then I met my twin, and so it was just like, okay, I'm gonna just keep listening to my intuition.
Late at night, I fall like on my feet. channel so divine, just like I found a portal to another time. The channel with a mystical flair. Gotta make the lesson set and clear. 369 time mission readings take me to the higher place. Unlocking my intuition, feeling spirit's embrace. From empath to psychic abilities, tarot cards and more. I'm catching all the vibes like I never did before.
Goodbye.
Up in the clouds and going. Do you wanna fly with me?
What's up, my wonderful, fabulous Virgo? How is it going? How are you feeling?
Anything, I process everything by reverse engineering. I look at it. I look at why did they teach us evolution? Why are they teaching us Darwinism? So reverse engineer and say, what's the purpose of it? The purpose of it is to make you think a certain mind state, to form a certain psychology, which forms a certain behavior, which allows somebody else to be in control of you, and you will never know what you really are, but they know what you are. So that's how I start figuring out why we are taught certain things. So real way to become conscious of yourself is learning how to teach yourself. It's not in a book.
Right.
It's not going to be certain things. It's like you got to learn how to teach yourself. You got to learn how to turn off the labeling, the judging, fear. The fear is like the hardest thing to turn off.
It is. I think for me, I can only speak for me. That has been like a stage thing, like in stages. Like maybe fear used to be up here, right, with whatever, just to say life, right? And now, you know, as time has gone lower and lower and lower and lower, and so it's a more controlled kind of thing where it wasn't always like that. Like that was learned. Even be able to turn fear off, which for me, straight up, like I still work on that. Like when I feel it coming in, I have to like consciously be like, this is an illusion. You know what I mean? And being like, what is this? But on like a very basic scale, this is an illusion, right? Is that part of the programming then?
It's part of the program. I view it as a game, like a video game. I kind of view it like Grand Theft Auto.
Okay.
There's levels, there's markers, there's certain parts where you're gonna add new weapons or new stuff to your cache or whatever. That's how this life is. It's like you learn stuff, you go through these phases, and there's these points where you hit these markers, and those markers are usually people in your soul group, soul tribe, or whatever you want to call it. You're going to have these distinguished points in time that let you know your reality of what you thought it was isn't what you thought it was. So this
I feel
game,
like that's a real
it's a game to me. And and we do what, like I said, we duplicate everything, what we are and what the physical body are. So in order for us to create video games, TV shows, movies, it all comes from a real place. It's a real thing. So when I tell people like hit movies, those are really memories, and those are real events that have actually happened in another time, so to say.
And as such, right? Because you could say in another time, in another dimension, what have you, that would make the creators or creator of that movie, of that experience, creator, right? A creator, because that's like, literally what it is.
They're creators, but they don't even know the macro of what they're actually doing, because they might put together writers, stunt people, punch up writers, you got grip people, and they may never meet each other, but they all come together to make this content or movie, whatever it may be, and it's an actual real thing, because that programming is in all of us somehow through this matrix, this energy matrix. It pulls information from us and it makes us push it out. So everything that we see is something that is already in us, we're projecting it outward. So we're always creating everything around us. That's why it's like everything is tarot around us. We can speak to it, we can affect it, we can change it, but we don't like to think it's us. So we start labeling it. We give it modality names. We call it religion. We call it tarot. We call it meditation. And we start confusing ourselves more and more because we start dividing it up more and more. So that's kind of the point where the mind flips to where you keep trying to compress it all down to this being the only reality of your existence, and it's not.
Right.
We leave here all the time.
When we sleep, for example.
Yeah. And then like you had said about like the spirit, how does the spirit world and all of that coincide with all of this? Those are other experiences that we also experience. Like I remember being a ghost. I remember being a what you would call a spirit guide. It's still, you're not in a body. I remember being a watcher, a protector. These are all the different things when I didn't have a body. So those are still forms of existences where you have a so-called life, but it doesn't involve eating. You don't breathe. You absorb, not in a body. Yeah.
Like a light, or like your essence, or you're like a light, or whatever it.
And you don't absorb energy.
You had it.
Like we absorb energy and give energy differently in each experience.
Okay, yeah.
So like when like Monsters Inc., the cartoon, that's a real thing.
Right.
Like when you're a ghost, scaring people actually is like eating. It gives you like a high. You feed off of it. It's not a bad thing in that realm, but in this dimension, but in this dimension, you're taught to believe that it's bad. But in that existence, it's not viewed as bad. It's perspective.
What is the deal when you have situations where people are like, oh, this place is haunted, right? Which, okay, it could be haunted because there's the paranormal activity there, right? Because they're eating. We can just say that, right? So we just use that as an example. The ghosts are eating. And that's like giving them energy. We'll say that is giving them energy, right? What happens when you have those situations where it's like there's actual like physical harm that's done to living beings in this realm from the other side, I guess, for lack of a better way, for that paranormal? Like, we don't really hear about it a lot, but you know, there are always those stories of, well, this and this and this happened to this person. They were the only person there. You get what it is that I'm trying to say? Like, so if it's just perspective and it's like, okay, well, it's just this person's perception, right? They're perceiving it to be a scary thing, or that's how would that explain someone having like an actual physical harm or something? Do you get what I'm trying to ask?
You got multiple things that can happen at once. A person can die, not know that they're dead. A person can be aware that they're in another realm, you know, aka a ghost, and not know how to function within that body or that experience, like how to communicate. Because I've been in those situations where I know that there are other beings that exist around us that we can't see. You would call them ghosts. Because I remember as a baby, I used to sense a woman sitting in my bed, and I thought it was my mother, but it wouldn't be nobody there. Then I would hear like footsteps walk around my bed. Nobody was there. And we even moved to a whole nother house, and the same thing would happen in my room. You would hear footsteps of somebody walking in my room. They would walk around my bed and walk around the other side and then walk back out. It was like they were always checking on me. So I'm like, okay, maybe that was somebody from another life. I just can't remember who they are. So these things are possible because we can exist in all types of forms.
Do you write your dreams? You don't?
Just remember them. They're like everyday life experiences.
I've been writing mine for almost 2 years, and it became a habit. Like I said I was going to do it, and now I just do. Like I'm able to just not even be fully aware, I guess, in this reality, I guess you could say, and write it down. It's just really interesting because I feel like none of us really know what a dream is. I think some people are more aware of maybe what it is, but like I don't feel like any of us really know in no uncertain terms this is exactly what it is. I do feel like, I mean, obviously we travel, right, and we're tapping into different consciousnesses, but then do you think it's ever possible that a person just does not dream?
People tell me that, and I be thinking those are the NPCs, but I've had other people that say they're conscious and they don't dream either.
Because I've only met one person, that at least that I'm aware of, you know, I only know people tell me, right? But that I'm aware of that literally looked me in the face and I actually genuinely feel like they just didn't dream. And I'm just like, I cannot relate to that at all. Like I literally, and it was almost like a thing where I want to believe that maybe they dream and just don't know. But then but like ever. But yeah, I met one person. I've met a person in life who was like, yeah, no, I just don't ever dream. And
that's crazy.
I had no choice but to believe. Like it just whooped this person to have. I was just like, I don't know. Yeah. And so yeah, it's interesting though the experience that I ended up having with that individual. So it does kind of make you wonder, like, is that an NPC? Like, are there really soulless beings?
Yeah, it is.
Do we get demoted to it? Do we like start to lose pieces of our soul, or are there just like?
No, I think I think you make a choice of if you want to be lost or not.
So it makes you wonder, like, well, which side of this am I on? Like, because if I had a group of people, it's like, am I dead and don't know? Because the answer is kind of yes, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I guess that's a very simple way to I guess say it, but you can say, but then we're also living, so
we're living where we're not in the body, though.
So now we're in this matrix, right? We're not in NPCs because we might still retain programming or memories from before, which is right now. Okay. But that being said, we're all still NPCs or whatever until we wake up. There are some that are more aware than others that know more because they know more, they do more, and they continue to just be more and more and more and more, right? What is it for?
Just filler. It doesn't really serve a purpose. It's just filler. Just like a game. If you didn't have those background people, wouldn't seem as real. You wouldn't be in the now or more engaged if you didn't have like all this filler. Because that's part of the distraction. You're multifaceted, multidimensional. So in order to kind of lock you in to an illusion of starting all over, not having memory, these things got to be here. It has to be here in order to have that struggle process, because you're not going to want to question anything if there's no change, no friction, no some type of disruption.
Side note, I just have to say, the song that's playing right now that I'm listening to is called Why. And I just think that's really funny because I'm literally at that point where why? What we're sitting here talking about, what is the reason? And I think that's where I'm stuck, but people have been stuck. And maybe the trick is, or not the trick even, is it that there is no why, because why is always changing, evolving?
Sort of.
Looking at it right.
Kind of, it evolves because there's many whys, but right. That one about why even have this whole illusion thing is right. You really have to, answer comes from you because it's right in front of you, but it's like you have to be willing to do the work to receive those answers, because a lot of times we get the answers but we don't want to receive it because it's not packaged how we think it should be, how we think it should sound, how it's supposed to feel. Because I tell people a lot of things that I talk about, people they still back away from. So that tells me, okay, you're scared to understand yourself. So as soon as I say something about a demon or having demon abilities, people shut down. So, or even religious people, they're the most usually they're the first to start shutting stuff down and be fearful and start being mean towards you because of fear. So it's like, okay,
it's not seen though. That's the thing, and how you can't make somebody see. You can't make people see things until they're ready.
That's the thing. You have to be ready. You have to make that choice when you're ready to take on that information about yourself. It's not actually external. It's actually internal, because like I said before, a lot of people assume that I'm from the military, the army, but I remember my lives that I was in the army, and I flown planes, I hunted people down, and it was like in this life I was like, I didn't even want to be in a body again. So it's like in this life I'm definitely not going to let somebody else control me. I don't want to be in the military or army. But having that memory of what I did and carrying it over and still making choices in this lifetime of what I want to do, but that energy is still on me of what I did in other lives.
Oh yeah, come on down to the fly factory where the beats are bubbling and the vibes are fly. We got the 808s kicking and the melodies move just like a fresh fade and a brand new. If you need a trim or a quick shave cut, fly factory barber lounge at your covered. Yeah, located in Lawrenceville, GA. Give them a call or just stop on by. They'll hook you up and make you look so fly. Come on down to the fly factory where the beats are bubbling and the vibes are fly. We got the 808s kicking and the melodies move just like a fresh fade and a brand new. If you need a trim or a quick shave cut, fly factory barber lounge at your covered. Yeah, located in Lawrenceville, GA.
There was this voice, it's like whatever it said was inaudible. It was like a phrase. Anyway, she'll be posting that. I'm not sure when, maybe tonight or tomorrow or something, but
I don't never think about that. Usually when I'm having like electrical problems, I think it's me. I always think it's my energy.
it could be. I mean, it could be, but I think it's hard to tell sometimes. It could be our energy. It could be, something external, something, because we have electricity within us. We don't know if that's going to interfere with if our energy is just, really crazy and chaotic, or if it's just really high energy, or is it something else that has learned how to manipulate its energy to make a statement.
Yeah, because like here's a fun fact people don't know, like your skin cells still carry electricity. So like in music studios, a lot of times the computers, they crash, they freeze and stuff, and they don't know why. And what happens is over time, like from the keyboard, just typing, losing skin cells, they build up under the keyboard, and that forms a whole nother electromagnetic field that interferes with the computer, and it shuts it down. So a lot of times it's like studios in Atlanta, you're supposed to like shut down and do a cleaning period where you clean up all the skin cells.
Yeah.
Because it can actually shut down computers and make, other stuff, devices crash.
That's wild.
That's why it's like you're not supposed to let people get your hair.
Exactly.
And stuff like that.
Exactly. So you know that I'm in the craft, and everything that we can wear something and, it carries our energies. If it gets in the wrong hands, bad things can happen, whether it's your hair, whether it's something that you drank from, or like you said, your hair. If it gets into the wrong hands, then
Dude, some of it just come out. The way I do it is intuitively. It's like something just tell me to pick this video, and then it ends up like if I have something in the background, it goes along with what I'm talking about. I done had the TV just playing in the background before, and then it'll be like confirmations in the movie that's playing in the background as I'm talking.
You know what? I do that too. It's so crazy, because do you ever notice that whenever you're saying something or thinking something, whether it's on the radio or whether it's a song when you're out, when, it's on the TV, it's like confirmation of what you're thinking about, or what you're talking about.
Sometimes it seems like you're projecting it. It's not you projecting it, but it is like a clarification, but it's always there. Because I do that, like, especially like with the music, like you play the song will just be playing over and over, like a hook or something in your head, and you're kind of like wondering why, and then it plays out throughout your day or something like that.
Yeah. But I always say that the whole world is a tarot card, because nobody really knows how the tarot actually works in the way that it works. You pull a bunch of cards, it tells a story, and it's accurate, right? It pulls the energies out of its surrounding area. How is that possible? Why do we not consciously do that? Well, we kind of can, right? So if we surround ourselves with positive things and we have that positive mindset, well, like I said, the whole world is a tarot. That starts coming into, I mean, that's law of attraction stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I actually said that in my other video. I said that the cards are a binary system because this dimension functions off a binary system. So it's a code of zeros and ones.
yeah.
So no matter what you ask, it's always going to come out in the format of 0, 1. That's why you have up and down, left and right, upright, reverse. And you can do it with anything. You can do it with pieces of paper. That's how people can just write stuff on paper, tear it up, put it in a cup, shake it up, and still do the same thing. So it's, to me, the way I broke it down was, okay, we emit electricity, we transmit and receive all the time. Within this field, we have a field around us as well. And then there's a collective field, which we're pulling information out of, where everything is happening all at once, all the time. So it's like, as you're reading and what you're thinking, as you're shuffling, you're constantly, that's the motion, that's the current that's transferring and receiving.
Right.
So as you're thinking, you're transferring and receiving. And it's like, it just comes out in the cards.
And it can also get interrupted. So one time I was over at my girl's house, right? And she was like, this was like new to her with tarot, right? This was like maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And she was like, read their cards, So she's over here, like, on the other side of the room, arguing with the other girl, right? And I'm trying to like read for this other lady, and the cards actually picked up her energy, because I was like, this don't make any sense. This don't make any sense to what we were just talking about. And it was picking up on my friend's argument with the, because the 5 of Wands came out. I remember that. It was like 5 of Wands in the tower. And I was like, it completely pulled her energy into this reading. So, and then I've had other people to bring on other people's energies, things that other people burden them with, and they bring it. And I'm like, this has nothing to do with, with you yourself. And one lady, she was like, yeah, this is exactly what's going on, but it's with, so-and-so and so-and-so. It's amazing how we can project our energies onto other people so easily. That's why we always have to be, armored up. And
I think that happens during like a certain time period too. Like when that interruption is able to seep through. Right. It's some type of window, because it's like a couple years ago, I noticed that the tarot readers, they would always start off their reads by saying, this could be you or another person, because they're picking it up dualistically.
Right.
So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're picking up a lot of different channels from